Hello and welcome back to the Puncher's Chance podcast with myself, Sam Hill, and as always, I'm joined by
Harry Tovey
and
Ben Thomas.
And in today's episode, we're going to be looking back at last weekend's fights, including Hitchins versus Lemos, looking at some audio clips from the world of boxing, doing some fun would you rather questions, and then previewing next weekend's fights, including Jordan Gill versus Zelfa Barrett. Now let's get into, straight away, last weekend's fights. There were some big fights on the card, actually, to be fair, and I thought some slightly interesting decisions as well from a lot of people's perspective. We'll start at the bottom. Mark Castro got a unanimous decision win over Abraham Montoya for the Continental Americas Super Feather. This was one of the ones that I think was a bit more comfortable, a bit more of a confident victory from Castro. 12-0 now. Probably one of the ones you're looking to start to maybe kick on in the not so distant future. I don't know if you boys caught up on the performance, but it was an impressive one, I thought.
So, Continental Americas, is that would that be European in terms of
Yeah, I suppose so, within sort of, yeah.
So you're probably looking at pushing world title level next then.
Yeah, or like a intercontinental, or maybe a
international type belt.
Yeah, like a WBO silver, whatever it is. Sort of one. But yeah, he seemed like a really good fighter, and it was a reasonable way to open up the card. And then obviously the other one next up, Galal Yafai, was obviously a Brit fighting over there, which we get to watch. It was a bit of a weird fight, that one, because and I'm not just saying this because I predict the knockout. I did think he was going to get a knockout, but if you watch the fight, I thought he was going to get a knockout in maybe the second or third round. The fact it lasted 8, it was weird. I just didn't know how it was still going.
Argentinian came to fight, didn't he? Those hooks he was throwing all the times were connecting. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the prediction that let me down. If it went the other way.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about the predictions, to be honest.
Finish bottom again.
Yeah. I think your fight looked a level above in that fight, which is why I think you obviously got the finish in the end. I'm surprised they maybe Gauto's corner didn't pull him a bit earlier. He was taking a lot of damage, and it didn't really look like he was ever going to get back into the fight. He just ate a lot of shots from Yafai.
Good thing about that as well, he had to deal with that. He had a nasty cut, didn't he, above his eye, so
yeah,
having to deal with that is probably a good learning experience for him.
And he's obviously got that amateur background. How many times do we see a fighter do 10 rounds in his first, 7 fights, is it?
Yeah, I mean,
that's mad.
He fought for the WBC International on his first fight. He's only ever fought 10-round fights. He's never fought an 8-rounder, 6-rounder, 4-rounder as a pro.
He's definitely going to be fighting for world titles at some point.
Yeah, and you've got to be thinking probably sometime pretty soon. I mean, he looked really, really good. I thought his performance was unbelievable. The footwork, the ring IQ, the way he just kind of really controlled the fight. I think the only thing you could really question him on and say maybe he could have done better was that he was a little bit too comfortable, too relaxed, and it meant he got caught out a number of times. But against a better opponent,
got the cut as well, didn't he?
That was a head clash, though, I think. So, slightly accidental, presumably.
What's next for him, though? Sonny Edwards? Do you reckon he needs another fight before that?
I think
he's in the top 15. And if you look at the other people in the top 15, they've all got a lot more fights than he has, but
he hasn't got the amateur.
I think that fight it makes sense for Sonny Edwards. I don't know if it makes sense for Yafai just yet.
That's a big risk, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's not for a belt either.
Yeah. It's a big domestic
if you want
showdown, ain't it?
If you want a Sonny Edwards fight, you probably want it for a belt. I know if you're taking that risk.
I think if Yafai is going to be fighting at that level, he's better off just going straight for the BAM fight and obviously fighting for belts. It's not necessarily a fight I think he would win, but if you're going to put up a risk against one of the best, you might as well have a chance of getting a belt from it.
Whereas number 1 against number 2, though, in Britain.
In Britain, yeah.
And then number 3, Jay Harris.
True, yeah. I mean,
Jay Harris.
He could fight Jay Harris because Jay's obviously got the.
That'd be a very good fight. If
he's obviously got the British,
European,
and the European and the Commonwealth. Yafai's got no belts to his name. It would make sense as a bit of a sort of leveler. I thought Harris looked really, really good last time out. maybe that's one that you can see if Yafai's quite at the at the level you think he is. Because he is 31. He's not as young as you think he did. He had quite a long amateur career.
Yeah.
What was he, a gold medalist at the Olympics?
Yeah. Tokyo, I think it was. So fairly recently.
That's not a bad fight, though. Jay Harris, Jalal Yafai. And then the winner of that then goes and fights Sonny Edwards. I think that's probably a decent route to go down.
Yeah, I back it. I'd be happy with that. I'd like to see that one happen.
And that could be Jay Harris going over to America as well for the first time. So
yeah, it could be. And
second time, actually.
It would be another big flyweight fight. We've seen a couple now, and obviously the big one was Sonny Edwards Bam, which was a huge fight at the time, and obviously we saw Jay Harris Butler as well, was a good fight. It would be nice to see some bigger fights out of that weight division, because they don't tend to get the
best fights to watch, aren't they?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Action packed. Yeah.
The only thing I can think is your fight looked fucking huge in there, like really big. I don't know if Galto's a particularly small guy, but he looked taller, stronger, bigger,
properly.
Yeah, fair play to him. And then the next fight, Skye Nicholson, Sarah Mahfood. Skye Nicholson won that WBC World Feather that we all expected her to do so.
What a performance.
Very
easy
impressive.
for her,
very easy, very comfortable. I think, she said herself that she suits more so 12 3-minute rounds, and this one obviously 10-2s. But you can see why she would say that. She's not a particularly aggressive fighter, not a particularly flash fighter. She's not going to get a huge amount of knockouts, but she just outclasses her opponents generally. She is, very, very good. Do we see the Serrano fight next, or do you want to see her, defend that belt against someone else, give someone else an opportunity before we see that fight?
She could possibly have the winner. I think they've announced this week, and they're looking at Katie Taylor and Serrano fighting in Vegas in the Sphere. So she could possibly go for the winner of that. That'll be a good fight for her.
I think Eddie Hearn said after the fight as well, he wants a homecoming for Skye. So maybe take her back down under and go to her
probably
own time.
Be like a defence next, wouldn't it? And then,
I mean, we've been calling for Elizabeth Schober. She's the WBC International, or the silver, so she's technically the
it's number 8 against number 3 then.
So she's technically the WBC mandatory challenger. That's supposedly what that's supposed to mean. So it only makes sense that's Elizabeth's fight in the near future.
That's a tough test for her as well.
Yeah. I think
what we've heard about Elizabeth Schober, I think that's a massive test.
Yeah, I think though, Skye Nicholson versus Amanda Serrano, 12 3-minute rounds is the fight we're going to see in the not so distant future. Obviously, Serrano's last fight was called off just beforehand. There was that. I think it's bound to happen anytime soon. The only thing I'm hoping is maybe that Jake Paul's not to do with it as much as he would be. I don't want Skye Nicholson, Amanda Serrano to be on a Jake Paul card.
Undercard, yeah. The co-main event of Jake Paul against some taxi driver.
They could do that fight in Australia, mind.
Yeah.
Unless they do a defence first in Australia, then do that.
But she didn't get damaged, did she? So she can easily go out in the next 10 weeks.
I think Skye Nicholson defending against someone like Elizabeth in Australia would make a lot more sense than taking Amanda Serrano out. But she's 10-0 now, Skye, and one of the faces of Matchroom, I think. Mm-hmm. Like the way they were pushing her on socials, she's a big name. She gets a lot of support. And a superstar for Eddie, I think, in the not so distant future. And then the two fights, one of the fights that tripped us all up on the predictions, Diego Pacheco versus Sean McCalman, we all said, Pacheco's going to knock him out. Wasn't quite the case. It was still impressive, I thought, from Pacheco. I thought he still looked quite good, but just couldn't get the finish. McCalman looked quite good in the ring, actually.
For someone who wears glasses and was squinting all the time, I thought fair play to him. He came to fight, and that's what you wanted. And what a hell of a fight! 10 rounds of pure going back and forth. Obviously, it's probably a learning fight for Pacheco now. That I was working on the inside. That's something that he needs to probably work on. But what a fight! And I honestly thought Pacheco would walk through him. But that's a very good test to have against a very solid opponent in McCalman.
He's got to be pushed towards world title now, only. That's the logical next step, and he's had a good few fights, good few victories, but I think he needs a proper next test now of, I don't know who they'd stick him in there with in terms of whether it'd be a champion or someone just before.
Well, Eddie Hearn said he wants a big fight in Los Angeles, so...
Yeah, it's an tough one. What I liked about Pacheco in this performance was that McAlmon started really, really well, and looked really strong and looked to be getting the beating of Pacheco, but then he worked him out. He found a way to win, which is what you've got to do. You know, the very best boxers, you can't always just, you know, go around and beat people at your game. Sometimes they're going to do things to disrupt your game, and you've got to find a way around that. And he didn't get the finish like we maybe expected him to, but he got the result, and that's all that matters.
Berlanga?
It's a big fight. I think...
That's why you say it is, ain't it? Really?
It's a division...
You've got a few American fighters here, like Demetrius Andrade as well.
Yeah.
Or Benavidez, if he's not going to get a Canelo fight.
It's a division that's a little bit on hold because
I don't see Benavidez fighting Pacheco. They train together. I think that's probably...
Yeah. I don't think that's a fight.
That's a hell of a fight, Mike.
I think Demetrius Andrade maybe make sense. Obviously, he lost to Benavidez last time out. And has fought around. He's held a world title, Andrade. So maybe that would be a good test for him.
He's only ever lost once as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, to Benavidez. That was the first loss on his record. I think exciting things to come from Pacheco, but maybe it wasn't one that. If that was the first time you've watched Pacheco and you've heard all these great things, you might be thinking, oh, maybe he's not all that. But I think it was just a really tough test against a really awkward opponent.
And that fight brought an end to like a 10-fight winning streak of stopping his opponent. So, yeah, listen, 10 rounds banked, experience gained, move on. And, that Berlanga fight, I wouldn't mind seeing that next.
Yeah, that would be a good scrap. And before we move on to the main event, which we'll talk about, obviously, and there's a little bit of controversy around that one. The other thing we saw was...
never.
Clarissa Shields was on commentary for this one, and they faced her off with Alicia Baumgartner.
Oh, yeah.
So, am I not right in saying... So, Clarissa Shields is fighting at what? Middleweight. So, she's, 159. And then Alicia Baumgartner, she's like a featherweight. I mean, that's obscene. That's like...
Is it that much for weight difference?
It's a huge, I think. And that would be, that's like... I don't know. Canelo calling out Joe Cordina. It just like you wouldn't see it. I can't find it now.
But she's been in the PFL as well now, ain't she? So
yeah, true.
She wants to be world champion there, and then she wants to fight everyone else. She was very biased as well, I thought, on the commentary.
A little bit.
She could end up having a fight in the PFL?
Yeah.
With who else has just gone over
there? Savannah Marshall.
Yeah. Could see them too.
They've boxed before, haven't they?
Yeah.
So they do the rematch, like what Fury wanted to do with Ngannou, but they actually do it inside the cage.
Yeah, so Alicia Baumgartner is a super featherweight. So you're looking at, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weight classes? That's a big difference. It is a bit easier
with the women sometimes, but...
You do see it more, but that is huge. That is a huge, huge weight difference. I don't know.
Fair play to her if she wants to take it.
Yeah. So, it would be like, Chris Eubank Jr., Hamza Shiraz calling out Joe Cordina. You just wouldn't see it.
No.
It doesn't happen. But, for maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that fight does happen. Like I said, on to the main event. Richardson Hitchins got the unanimous decision win over Gustavo Lemos. 115, 113 on two of the judges' scorecards. 117, 111 on one of the... Which is a...
I don't know what he's watching.
Absolute...
What's he watching? 115, 113, I think's fair.
With the American fights, I don't know.
Yeah, there's always one. There's always one guy who's watching the wrong sport. Mental that you're giving that.
117, 111. So what's that? That's 8 rounds?
No, it's only 6 points, so 3 rounds over.
That's ridiculous.
But yeah, it was a really...
So 115, 113.
It's more than that.
It could have been 114, 114.
Yeah.
And I scored it a draw, but
I had Hitchins winning at 115, 113, but there was a couple rounds where I was kind of like,
He started slow, I thought.
Maybe Hitchins, maybe Lemos. Yeah, Lemos did really well.
For someone who's... How old's Lemos now?
I don't think he's too old.
28.
He's 28, yeah.
He's like an Emiliano Marcelli.
Yeah, but he's a guy he had a no losses on his record, had fought fighters like, obviously, Lee Selby, like we mentioned.
Well, sent Lee Selby really into retirement, didn't he?
A really difficult fight. He made it really difficult for Hitchins. I think Hitchins is evidently a really technically good boxer, really clever fighter, but maybe a little bit too pretty for those first couple rounds. He nearly got
found out, I think, and I don't think he respected Lemos at all in the build-up to the fight.
Maybe it was just a bad night in terms of performance-wise, but...
Yeah, I just think maybe he could have done himself a favor. Well, he didn't necessarily know what he was coming up against, but I think he was trying to be a bit too neat at the start, and he was letting himself get backed up to the ring, backed up to the rope every time, and then Lemos, was able to put work to the body, was able to put work to the head, and then at that point you're slowing yourself down and your movement's a bit slower. It's difficult, but he showed fight in him. He's into the top 10 now in the world.
He's the IBF mandatory challenger now, isn't
he? Yeah, for super lightweight.
He'll have the winner of Subriel Matias and
I don't think he wants that fight though because of the rehydration clause in it.
Yeah,
you have to weigh in again the following day or something.
Yeah, but there's no point fighting for a mandatory.
I agree with you.
Title challenge if you're not going to take it, is it?
Unless he gets another title opportunity.
Yeah.
Which realistically would be the winner of Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia.
Well, it's pointless saying the winner of Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia when Haney.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Or Teofimo Lopez would be the other one.
I think after that performance, man, he probably needs another decent fight. Maybe Isaac Cruz or Regis Prograis.
I mean, Isaac Cruz would be a good one because Isaac Cruz obviously got that world title belt now.
I don't think anyone will want to get in with Isaac Cruz.
But I wouldn't want to. No, it's a tough one. I think with Hitchins, he looks really tidy, looks really good, but I don't know if he quite looks at the top level yet.
Dalton Smith. Get him over there for his American debut.
It could be an opportunity. The only thing I'm thinking,
many different options in that.
Is a very good weight category.
Yeah, I don't know whether necessarily that's the fight for Dalton Smith. But yeah, it would be a good fight nonetheless.
I'm not being funny. Hitchins fought Zepeda last time out. Couldn't get him out of there. Look at what Dalton Smith did.
Yeah, true. It was I thought overall it was a really good card.
Got our money's worth, I think.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. Are we thinking that Lemos could be, completely aggrieved with the result, or is it one of those ones where he could have won, he could have lost, and the judges gave it, that way rather than the other?
I've seen a lot of people complaining that he should have won it, but I think it's one of those things where depends on what judges are watching it sometimes, isn't it?
I think I saw on the Boxing News app that 12% of people thought Hitchins won. Only 12. And I thought he was better than that. I think he wasn't necessarily quite as active as Lemos, but he landed a lot of really clean shots. He was a lot tidier, so it's a lot easier to score those punches. When Lemos landed, you don't necessarily know whether he landed. It's difficult to tell.
That's what Hitchins said, don't it?
Whereas Hitchins made it very clear when Lemos's head was getting knocked back. You didn't necessarily, other than the couple times Hitchins got wobbled, you didn't necessarily see that.
117, 111. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, that is a joke.
That is unbelievable. That's nearly as worse as British scoring, ain't it?
I think it's one of those ones you put down to style. What a judge sees as good boxing, what a judge sees.
That's what a judge should do, though, afterwards, because there's a bit of controversy. He should come out now and say, this is why I scored it on.
They scored
I wish that's what they did, but they don't.
Yeah, there should be. I think boxing does need to bring in a little bit more. I'm trying to think of the word.
That's what the UFC do.
Responsibility. The judges need to take responsibility for their decisions. They need to be able to justify their decisions, and they need to be held accountable when you get stuff like this. If another judge had given that as a draw or something, then, you'd be there, and then Hitchins gets a majority win over, 117, 111. Like, that's not... It's just not a score that is even close. But,
it wasn't the fight we watched.
Yeah, so
no.
They were talking about, not long ago, but having 6 judges as well now for Fury Usyk next month. And
I don't think more judges fixes it.
No,
3 Ukrainians
probably
and
causes
3
more chaos.
It's what the judges are doing is what you need to...
There should be a list
of
what they're looking at, and they should just go by list, not just by their opinion. So...
Yeah, it's a difficult one though, obviously, because sometimes you could win a fight on tick box, but not on the eye test, and vice versa. There's always going to be controversy, but if we can stop,
I think it'd be
just
better.
daftness, then
How many times have we talked about it already this year?
Too many.
Too many times.
Better to just explain their reasoning.
They should stand up in the middle of the arena with a mic. I would like to say I scored this fight this way because... Thank you.
I don't think you'd be saying 117.
I was getting called
11.
all sorts of names.
Nah.
That's what they should do. Shame on you.
We'll move on to our audio clips from the world of boxing. First one is Dylan White talking about Oleksander Usyk versus Tyson Fury and what he makes of that fight, and how he thinks Tyson Fury is going to prepare for it, etc., etc.
Struggling to pick one in that fight, man, because it's very hard to pick. Say this guy's gonna win, this guy's gonna win. You can make a case of both guys, but I think it's a 50-50 match. I think, and it just depends on who wants it more and who's done the right things. I think Fury wakes up for fights. He won't train for Usyk the same way he trained for Ngannou. I'll tell you that now. With Ngannou, he trained a certain way, and he had a certain. You could see body language was like, whatever. But with Usyk, you can see he was in shape. He was in shape when the fight got rescheduled. So let's see.
So obviously, it's closing closer and closer to that date now. We are still a little while out, but it gives us another.
If we get it,
it gives us another excuse to talk about it because
why not?
That one was, I think, Boxing Social, possibly. I'm a double check. Yeah, Boxing Social talking to Dylan White. I think what I found really great from that was obviously Dylan White saying what not a lot of people have said so far, which it's a 50-50 fight. You can't really call it either way. You get a lot of people online going, "Oh my god, Usyk is going to wipe the floor with him," or Tyson Fury is going to knock him out in 5 seconds, and like trying to be very polarizing with their views because it gets clicks. But it's good. Realistically, it's a tough fight. It's a close fight. Whoever turns up best on the night, whoever's had the best camp, could be the one winning the fight, or vice versa.
It's just a 50-50 fight, ain't it? You can make a case for both fighters. And
normally, when you look at a fight, you could sort of try and pinpoint who's going to win where, but with this one, you could see every possibility happening, I think.
It's 3 weeks in a row as well in May that you've got 50-50 fight headlines.
Yeah.
Canelo Munguia, McCaskill Price, and Fury Usyk.
Yeah, I mean...
And I've probably missed out 2 fights because that May is just rammed full of stuff.
I mean, boxing is in a really, really good place right now in terms of fights. When we're seeing all of these fights, not to mention, all these big Saudi fights, and then you look in Britain and you're seeing huge fights, Nathan Heaney, Brad Pauls, fights like this, you've got Chris William-Smith, Richard Riakporhe coming up at some point. You got, Wardley Clark, like you said, which was an all-timer. Boxing's back.
Yeah, it's good from domestic all the way to world level, isn't it?
It's really, really good.
It's about time it's back though as well, ain't it?
We've
had so long off, and
yeah. Is it mad though, or is it not mad? Maybe it's logical that now we're seeing AJ back at his best. British boxing's back at its best, and the last time heavyweight boxing and British boxing was this good was probably the last time AJ was at his best before
that Klitschko fight. Yeah.
I was going to say, well, obviously, yeah. After that fight and then on to, unfortunately, the Andy Ruiz fight.
He does help to bring an audience, doesn't he, AJ? When he first come through, it was obviously the first boom with him. Everyone watching him, and now everyone's ready to see him and Fury eventually, hopefully.
Non-boxing fans are watching him, ain't he? It's like my grandparents, are you watching Anthony Joshua this weekend? They don't care about boxing, but when Anthony Joshua's on the TV, they watch.
And like anyone listening to this podcast, if they were to ask their girlfriends to name them one boxer,
it would be Anthony Joshua.
It would be Anthony Joshua. He
transcends the sport, doesn't he?
He does. He does.
Because he goes on TV and all that, don't he? He was on, what was he on? Jonathan Ross on the weekend?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he's just a likeable guy. He's very respectful. He doesn't, you're not going to stick Tyson Fury on telly just because you don't necessarily trust what he's going to say. Whereas AJ, you're going to get, he's the perfect product for British boxing, and I think Eddie's done well to manage him. Obviously, since the Usyk loss, from there onwards, they've really sorted it out. I
think it's all down to Ben Davidson as well.
Yeah, big time. He's done really well with in the ring stuff, and generally when it's going well in the ring, it's really easy to look good out the ring as well.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Well, Dillian White as well. It was good to see him back in the mix of things now, speaking in front of cameras and all after what happened. And I reckon we see him on the 5v5.
I just want to see him fight Ngannou. That's just the only fight I want to see. Like, I know it's daft, and I know
they have to that's probably the fight, but
yeah,
just for that call out.
Yeah,
Joe Joyce, Dillian White's a good fight as well, but I think White wipes the floor with him after his last performance.
Yeah. You could do or Dillian White. I don't know, Dave Allen maybe.
Kubrat Pulev.
He's back.
If he wants another, not an easy fight, but a sort of
you're always going to get a good fight. Well,
Chisora.
I was going to say you always get a good fight with Dillian White, but except for when he fights Fury, but
a good scrap.
Yeah,
it'll always be a good scrap. It might not necessarily be a good fight. On to our next audio clip. Another little fight, so to speak. Maybe not quite such a good one. This is Eddie Hearn talking on IFL TV about the relationship between Matchroom and Boxer, or the lack thereof.
From Skye and Boxer to try and freeze out any Matchroom fighters from getting any airtime or any publicity. I mean, you saw it most recently with Chev Clark. But the best way to describe it is there has been 5 fights, not discussed, ordered, between Matchroom and Boxer. On 5 occasions, well, we're about to get it with Isaac Chamberlain, they have refused to either accept those fights. They've actually not even opened discussions around those fights.
So obviously Eddie's talking from Matchroom's point of view there, so it's not necessarily a direct indicator of the truth, but is it fair to say it's a shame that we're not seeing Matchroom and Boxer do business whatsoever? Are we missing out on some good fights because of their lack of relationship, whatever the cause of that may be?
You don't know what the relationship was, Mike, when Eddie Hearn left Skye, so maybe something happened there and he doesn't want to go back to it, but I don't get why they're not working with each other. Queensbury and Matchroom are finally working together. Obviously, there's a hell of a lot of money floating around with them too now, but yeah, we're missing out on some decent fights. And yeah, Adam Azim vacating his European belt, I think it's a bit embarrassing on Boxers. But yeah.
And like,
it's boxing though, it's British boxing, and everyone's not going to get on with each other, and it's just a shame that we're not going to see these. We talked just then 50-50 fights. They're all 50-50 fights. It's just the platform, I think, is the problem.
It was the same a few years ago with Eddie and Frank Warren on it. Like, it happens with promoters. Like, they struggle sometimes to work with each other, but hopefully they can fix something, because we are missing out on some very good fights, and like the likes of Chev Clark and Isaac Chamberlain, that's a fight I think that should definitely be happening, and Chev Clark deserves his opportunity, and Isaac Chamberlain deserves it as well. They both need to get in there and prove who is the best.
Has Chamberlain vacated his belt now, or has he still got it?
Well, they were on about there's going to be a
Vidal Riley, I think, is the most likely.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't know.
Boxer want to keep it within Boxer, and
they can't grow fighters though that way.
No.
They have to, as Eddie Hearn keeps on saying, I put fighters in against, look at Callum Smith against Beterbiev. Roll the dice.
Yeah, sometimes
I don't think Ben Shalom wants to do that just yet.
Like, in terms of your career, at some point you need to, and like I think you're seeing it to a certain extent with, they've had Ben Whittaker, who is obviously sort of voiced that he's not very happy under Boxer and is probably looking at going towards Matchroom. Like, Ben Shalom doesn't want to keep doing the thing of building these fighters up to a point where then they just jump ship to other promotions and get the big fights elsewhere.
Yeah, if you're going to lose them to Matchroom, you might as well just
work with them.
Just work with them, and yeah, maybe keep hold of some of your fighters.
Because Boxer have put on some very good shows this year, but they can put on even more if they're willing to.
It's the same over in America though with Golden Boy. No one likes to work with them, and they're putting on decent shows themselves. So
Probably because Oscar De La Hoya's out of his mind.
I do feel
half the
bad
time.
for Ben Shalom in a way, because it does feel like he's sort of pushed to one side in terms of the other promoters.
That's why I think it's Sky Sports. I don't think it's him. I reckon it's Sky Sports.
I don't know.
Maybe there's the whole issue with DAZN, Sky Sports.
Eddie
as well.
and Frank, people just don't seem to like Ben Shalom. And like you say, I don't know if that is because, he's come in at Sky and he's sort of the figurehead for what Sky have or haven't done. Or whether, Eddie and Frank are just protecting, their monopoly on the top end boxing market in the UK. Again, possibly. But it is a shame. It needs to, for the better of boxing, we've seen obviously Matchroom, and I'm not saying that Ben Shalom and Eddie Hearn need to, be best mates going out for dinner, shaking each other's hands and stuff. But if they've got two fighters at the same level that should be fighting, make them fight, get them to fight, have that conversation.
And this is where the British Boxing Board of Control should be coming in now and saying, right, forget about all the politics, these two are fighting. And they don't. That's the bad thing about it. Yeah,
unfortunately. To move on to a slightly more light-hearted audio clip, bit of fun, I put this one in for you guys. This is Sam Noakes talking about a 5v5 Queensberry versus WWE matchup. So they give him 5 WWE fighters, and he matches them up with 5 Queensberry fighters.
We can talk about WWE all day now.
I thought I'd give you two boys this one because you'd appreciate it. The only thing is it's slightly difficult to hear because some knobhead at Queensberry has decided to put a load of loud music over the top of it, and you can't quite hear what he's saying, but we'll do our best to hear it, and we'll see what you think of the fights that Sam Noakes picks out.
Who would you get from Queensberry to fight at the Rock?
Joe Joyce.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
He's another big fella. I was just a Talma.
Rey Mysterio.
I'll take him on, he's only little.
John Cena.
Andrew Shiraz.
With Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, he can have Zane. Get the big fellas in there.
So like I said, slightly difficult to make out, but I think so Rey Mysterio is fighting Sam Noakes. That's who he would take on.
Bit of a mix.
I think he said The Rock, Deontay Wilder, I think maybe he said.
After
Hulk
The Rock's performance on the weekend, Deontay Wilder gets that.
I think he said Hulk Hogan, Gillet Zhang.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan and Gillet Zhang.
I think that's what he said, yeah. I can't... Moses Atoma versus...
John Cena?
No, John Cena versus Hamza Shiraz.
Okay.
And then Moses Atoma versus another big guy.
I'll say Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
Roman Reigns. All 50-50 fights.
Are you sure?
Get the script out. That's all I say. Get the script out and see what happens.
But could they do it to speed just in a prime bottle? That's the question.
Mental.
I couldn't believe when I saw it was speed, I was like, what the hell? I thought it was like Jake Paul or something.
I thought the whole idea was they were trying to make it out that it was going to be JJ because obviously he'd flown out to America. I think it was in the background of Logan's Instagram picture or something, and obviously the prime bottle.
I don't think he was actually out there.
No, he wasn't. They just pretended.
faked it all.
But well, I think
to be fair, WWE and boxing has got a history together anyway. And Muhammad Ali was inducted into the Hall of Fame this weekend.
Floyd Mayweather's done WWE, I think. A number of them have. It makes sense once you retire.
Tyson Fury.
Get in there. Why not?
Yeah, Tyson Fury.
Braun Strowman.
Yeah, true.
Crown Jewel.
And what was it we were saying the other week? Hornswoggle had a boxing fight.
Yeah, I watched that. Mental.
Was it a good fight?
Mental. Absolutely mental.
To move on from that one, obviously, Ben, like I said, you've prepared some would you rather questions for me and Harry, and obviously you can chime in on them as well. So yeah, take it away.
Yeah, I've got a couple. Thanks to ChatGPT with a bit of help.
Of course.
No, you never use that, do you? Wow, unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a useful tool. But first would you rather question I've got is would you rather take a right hand from Mike Tyson or Francis Ngannou?
Ooh.
In their
prime or prime? Today?
We'll go prime Tyson.
Oh my god.
Deontay Wilder. Because I think he's more likely to take pity on me.
Tyson or Ngannou?
Oh, Ngannou. I was out a mile away. Ngannou.
I was thinking then. I heard Ngannou.
Ngannou. Because I think he's more likely to take pity on me. I think Tyson would try and take it off.
He's going for it. Like, he's throwing.
It's like the 10th round and you're out on your feet.
So it doesn't matter then. I'm picking death or death. Like,
that's horrible. I'll go Mike Tyson.
Mike, because I'm tall.
I would have
so
loved to have fight Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson, because I'm tall and I don't think he'd reach as well. Ngannou,
I've
think
just
Ngannou-
put my gear a bit, you know.
yeah,
Ngannou's got the hardest punch
recorded.
so
Yeah. I haven't recorded my punch yet, so.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm good. I'm good on letting Ngannou punch me in the face. Nah, that's not happening.
next question. I don't know if you boys have viewed this before, but if you had to fight Mike Tyson and you got 10,000 for every year he was born, basically, so if you fought him at 10 years of age, you'd have 100 grand. What age would you pick to fight Mike Tyson?
12.
12? 100? Have you seen him at 12, mind?
I haven't seen him at 12.
He's a big guy at 12.
Is he? He can't be that big though. Like,
When did Mike Tyson retire? How old is he when he...
I'll
I'll do Jake Paul. I'll fight him when he's nearly 60. 60.
No, but you've got to fight him within his prime, like.
Oh, within his prime.
So we'll say up to 30.
How can Jake Paul not fight him in his prime? It's a bit unfair. Up to 30.
How he looked age 12. Nah.
I would fight him. I would fight him at the end of his career.
I could bang him out.
30.
When did he retire? When he was 30?
Around about then. You'd fight a 30-year-old
You're
Mike Tyson.
Dead. Honestly, it's good
Listen,
knowing
if
you.
it sets my family up for the future, I'm all for that. I'm a family
It's
man.
nice knowing you. Nah.
Is there anything... You just don't know... Would you rather about Mike Tyson, yeah?
No,
Would you
I
rather
could-
have his sweets?
I've got a couple of different ones.
I could beat a 12-year-old Mike Tyson, I think.
Clip it.
I think.
Clip it. Clip that.
I wouldn't take my chances.
Look, here we go. Like, he's a big guy, but...
That's 12-year-old Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Need to check that out if...
Balls to that. He's like Luke Littler there.
I feel like I could
No.
use a bit of ring on.
I would fight him when he's 30, so I get the most money. Yeah.
Can I? My stipulation on that is big ring. I want a big ring, as
Yeah,
big
just
as
run-
it legally
run as
is
much as
allowed
you
to be.
Do it over
I
in
want
Germany
it.
or so.
Yeah. Right. Run up next one.
Do WWE
Wait, which one would
style.
you do? What would you do? You've got to get your answer in. Right?
8.
8.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's smart.
I don't want to take the risk, is it?
But
Smart.
he's not in his prime when he's 8, though.
Yeah, that's the whole point. You're
What's
still
that?
getting 80 grand.
You
But I
can't.
said I wanted to fight him when he's...
You
this
can't
age.
go after it. You can't go after.
Oh, that's rubbish, that.
I still think he'd bat you now anyway.
Probably.
Yeah, you've got to beat him to get the money as well, mind.
Yeah.
Oh.
You don't just get to scrap him for the fun of it.
So we don't even... Oh, fuck. Oh my god. Right, next one.
Would you rather win a fight via first round KO
Ooh.
or a decision after a 12-round war?
First round knockout.
First round knockout.
Yeah,
You don't get paid for overtime.
exactly. Don't want too much mileage on the clock.
Yeah.
Like
Nah.
Wardley Clark. That was an easy one.
But when people look back at your career and you've been in...
I think when people look back and you see yourself, you've knocked out, I don't know, Tyson Fury, Oleksander Usyk, Anthony Joshua, all in the first round, they're like, wow.
If you knocked out everyone in the first round, people would be like,
That's fair
fucking
enough.
hell.
Yeah. What about you, Ben? Are you
I'd
the sort of guy
I'd rather
go
go
the
for the
distance?
war, I would.
Mental.
That's the Murphy boy in
Yeah,
him, isn't it?
all that.
Fair
I'm
play.
good, thanks.
You've got that Rocky music on in your head.
I don't even want to think about doing 12 rounds.
Next one. Would you rather fight at Madison Square Garden or have a fight week out in Saudi Arabia?
Saudi, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
We've seen.
I've been
how
at
good they
Madison
are,
Square
man.
Gardens and it's quite small.
Yeah,
It's historical.
I get to
but
meet Ronaldo. I get to, I don't know,
Turk Galashake.
meet Turkey Alashake. Eddie and Frank will be out there. Fury will be out there if he's not fighting.
The only part is, knowing our luck, it would be fighting in Madison Square Gardens, but they'll put us in the theatre. The little theatre they got there. So
Don't get me
say
wrong.
Saudi.
Madison Square Garden, I wouldn't turn it down.
No.
I mean, I wouldn't turn down, like, I don't know, I wouldn't turn down the Vale Sports Arena. I'm not fussy.
That should have been the question. Madison Square Garden or Vale Sports Arena?
Vale Sports Arena or the walk-in freezer of a restaurant.
What about you, Ben?
Yeah, you've got to go Saudi. I think it's the new
For the money. For the money. That's all I'm thinking about with these. How much money can I make?
So you're fighting a 30-year-old Mike Tyson for 30 grand in Saudi Arabia.
300 grand.
300 grand.
300 grand.
Yeah.
Oh,
You've got to
okay,
beat
yeah,
him
fair.
to get it.
Yeah, you're not.
I'm not, but
Nah, that's fine.
insurance claim if he kills me then.
True.
Next question is: would you rather win an Olympic gold medal or a world title?
Olympic gold medal.
What? World title.
I
World
was stuck
title.
on this one, because Olympic gold is quite...
If you win Olympic gold, that's the pinnacle.
Are we
of
saying
sports.
in boxing?
Yeah,
winning a
boxing.
gold medal.
In boxing, world title.
Oof, fair enough.
If I can pick the event, I'd be like 100 meter sprinter. Like that's the that's the dog's bollocks. Like that's the one to win. But no, like obviously gold medal in boxing, people care. But world title, get that belt up in the living room.
No, I would want to do a gold medal because everyone cares about when the Olympics comes around. Everyone's talking about it. You get the parade and all. When you win a world title, really, no one really.
I'll have the parade. I'll make the parade.
You'd either be known as a very good amateur or a very good pro, then. Or...
Yeah, but you can build yourself up through the pro ranks.
Also, if I get a world title, I'll get to do a lap of Ellen Road. So that's
That
that's what
question should have been: would you rather have won a gold medal at the Olympics or fight for a world title but never win it?
I think you take the gold medal in, wouldn't you?
But the
Nah.
payday, though.
Yeah, the money.
Yeah.
Got to think about the money.
I think I'm a bit of a snob.
Just-
Coming talking just all about
It's just money for you,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Which one will make you more money? That's what Harry wants.
The next one is, would you rather be promoted by Eddie Hearn or Frank Warren?
Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie Hearn.
Eddie Hearn, yeah.
Both gone Eddie Hearn?
I think Matchroom have got... I don't necessarily think they put on the better shows, you know, stick me on a Magnificent 7 card, I'm not complaining. But I think Matchroom have got a really good stable, obviously. You've got the Matchroom gym. And I just think, well, I mean, Eddie's probably going to be around a bit longer as well. So, you know, longevity, you're talking.
Yeah.
I think he's managed to put himself up as the bigger of the two at the moment, probably.
Even I've left Ben Shalom up there. I feel bad now.
Yeah.
I was waiting for you. I would have gone Chris Saniger or Dan Vogt Boxing.
I mean, to be fair, if it's me, like, I have my current ability, I would probably go boxer.
Yeah.
Because I think they'd sort me out.
Build you up a bit more. Then
Yeah.
Jump ship when you're ready.
No, I'll stay loyal, if you're listening. Richie Garner, Big Ton, Sanagar, Mark Nielsen.
Top tier. Could do. There's so many promotional companies out there now these days. It's unbelievable.
Most valuable promotions. I'll be managed by Jake Paul.
Fight Andre August for the Texas Cruiserweight belt or something.
Yeah, that's the dream.
Talking about them, last one. Would you rather fight KSI or Jake Paul?
I'm
That's a good one.
gonna say KSI
Jake Paul.
because I'm
Jake Paul. Shut that clown up.
because I'm
That's what I was here
British. I mean, realistically, I'm going to lose to both of them, and because I'm British, I just think
he ain't gonna win.
and
But
I-
Jake Paul, I think, gives you more money.
I don't want to
Again.
give. I don't want to
Just
give.
thinking of the money.
I don't
think
want
about the dollar
to. I don't want to
sign.
give Jake the pride of knocking another person out. Say, I know he's 0-0.
Yeah, but we're nobodies in the world of boxing, so who
Yeah,
cares?
but Jake could be like, I know he's 0-0, guys, but he's a big name. He could beat me, guys.
You know, Sam Hill, he's from Bath, you know.
He's 6'1". He's taller than any other opponent I've faced, maybe. I think maybe...
Yeah. Nick Diaz, probably.
Nah, he's not that tall. I was going to say Anderson Silva might be taller than me. But Jake Paul would find his way
What
to
about
make
you,
me
Ben?
sound good.
Can't be fighting KSI, can you?
Both of them, I reckon.
What, 2 in one night?
Yeah,
Go
same
on.
night.
Go on, the boy.
We'll jump on one of them Misfits cards.
Tag team.
2v1 main
Luis
event.
Pineda's my real answer. If I could fight anyone.
Oh, and
That would be a
that would
good
be.
scrap.
I would just love to meet him.
Yeah, what boy.
Just
What a
love
boy.
to meet Pineda. He's been made famous. Do you know he's managed as well by Leeton, same person who manages Gavin
It's
Gwynn.
mad, innit? How would they...
Oh, he's just jumped on the bus wagon there, ain't he?
But Lee Eaton's he's had some year. I can't remember. I saw a thing the other day, like all the
Guy
fighters.
just won a world title.
He's
this weekend.
got Gavin, Jay Harris, obviously.
Shoba, you know?
No, I don't think so. She's with what's his name, Prosperity Management, whatever
Okay.
it is. Sean Murray. No, I think Lee Eaton's had a really good year. With a lot of his boxing, he obviously manages a lot of Welsh boxers, and a lot of Welsh boxers have had good years. So maybe it's to do with that. To move on, next weekend's fights, some big fights. We'll save the.
Would you rather?
Would you rather Jordan Gill win or Zelfa Barrett? No.
Oh,
We'll
let's get that
save
picked up.
that big card to the end where we'll do the predictions on the Boxing News app. Shout out Boxing News for I was going to say for letting us use that, but it's a free.
Don't even exactly.
It's a free to use app, so we're allowed to use it. But it's for letting me win. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, you're 2-1 up now, no?
Yeah, 2-1.
Shut up.
You playing this weekend, have you?
Have you put much thought into it, or you just you're keeping quiet? I respect it. Before we get on to that one,
I'm not cocky like you two, you know. When it
No,
comes
fair
to the actual prediction, May 18th.
oh, okay.
My lord, if Fury wins, your lives will not be worth living. Come this podcast studio.
Fair enough.
I can't.
Fair enough.
I just want.
So
That's why I'm staying quiet.
we'll talk about the other sort of fights as well. That's on before that one. So we've got
Charlie Edwards.
Yeah, Charlie Edwards. I
Friday
actually
night, that, isn't it?
Channel 5.
yeah.
Well, I'm assuming it's Channel 5 with
Yeah,
Wasserman
it is.
boxing, yeah. Happy days.
Lovely. Yeah, you lot sell that one because I haven't got the notes down on me.
Go on, Ben.
You're passing over to me, you.
Well, you've got about 3 paragraphs, so...
Well, Edwards back, looking to go for a second world title after. Did he win his first one in 2020? Or he's only fought 3 times since 2020. So, I think he won his title.
Well, he
in
challenged
2019,
Julia Cesar Martinez, didn't he? So
Yeah.
Julio, sorry, not
But,
Julia.
against Jorge Ori, who's a former IBO World Superfly champion this weekend. He's only ever fought in France, so this is his first time in the UK. But good test for Charlie Edwards, and I think if he wins Friday night, then lines him up for a world title shot, possibly. I'd like to see him go against Jason Maloney.
Yeah, I don't know who owns the WBC belt specifically. Just because obviously it's the silver's technically the mandatory challenger. I don't think it always works like that, but that's what it traditionally was. But yeah, it should be a good fight. It's good to see him back. He's not been quite so active over the last few years. Had a couple of years off between 2021 and 2023. But he's a top fighter, top bantamweight.
The WBC is held by Junto Nakatani, who's ranked number 1 in the world.
Well, there you go then. Yeah, I think that the problem is, I
He
think
could fight Ashley Lane, mine.
Yeah, that was another
yeah.
one. It was a possibility, but
the only slight problem is you see with a lot of the Japanese fighters, they tend to
They
fight.
don't come out of Japan, do they?
Yeah, they tend to fight in Japan, and they tend to fight a lot of the sort of Southeast Asian or Australian fighters. They tend to keep that. So obviously you got Takuma Inoue is most likely
if
to
you
be the
look
one
in the top
fighting him.
10, 6 of them are from Asia.
Yeah, well,
So-
when the lower weight classes, you tend to get. That's where the Japanese fighters and the Philippine fighters tend to come good, because obviously they are generally smaller people, so they come good in the lower weights. You don't get, other than maybe Zhile Zhang, you don't tend to get many big heavyweights out of Asia, unless of course you include Russia. Then you do get a few. But that should be a good fight. That one, it should be a good fight.
yeah, it's a good test for him, and it'd be good to see him back in the ring. Hopefully, get a world title shot then, and another big fight to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other one of the other cards, we got a Bob Arum top-ranked card. Ruben Villa versus Christian Cruz Chacon, and Jared Anderson against Riyad Merry, maybe? Merry?
Mechi? Is he French?
Yeah.
Is that the
Don't know,
lightweight?
to be honest.
No, that's the heavyweight fight now.
Oh.
And this Anderson, he's been a bit of a naughty boy, ain't he? 2 days after this fight, he's appearing in court.
Yeah.
So
You
What for?
hopefully they're him.
he's actually on bail at the moment. He had to pay $10,000 for bail and was released. He was charged with 3rd-degree felony fleeing a police officer.
Oh, that's not ideal. But
He refused to stop when asked and is accused of leading the police on a 6-mile chase.
fair enough.
The guy was just training.
It'd be good to see him win, because I just think
He's the next big American heavyweight
Yeah,
now. You
you
got
know-
Deontay Wilder. He's gone now. Jared Anderson's the next one coming through.
and obviously, Jarrell Miller is dropping off as well now. Harry's
Such a shame.
thinking like,
Such a shame.
but yeah, I think it will be a good fight, that one, and hopefully one that he comes out good. Hopefully, he comes out good in court as well, and we can see him challenge in.
On the undercard as well, I think you've got Efe Ajaba. I think he's another big heavyweight.
Yes,
I don't know if you boys seen in the past, but he was meant to fight someone, Can't remember who it was. And as soon as the first bell rang, his opponent walked out the ring.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I think he's the.
You've never seen that?
No, I think he's the.
You've never seen that video?
I think I know what one you're on.
I think he's the number one Nigerian. Sorry, pound for pound Nigerian boxer. I think I was looking because I think number 2's Tosin, obviously male, and he's only lost to Frank Sanchez. I think is his only loss.
That's a fine
on his
That's
record.
okay to say you've lost to someone like that.
Yeah, that's a top, and that was for the Americas belt, which obviously he got, but he's got the WBC silver. So he clearly is going into it. That's Effie Shagba. He's going into it with a lot of pedigree, and I think it's one of those ones again. You see that if he wasn't Nigerian, if he was American or English or Russian or Mexican, probably would have had some more opportunities by now that he's not necessarily getting. And then the other one, Ruben Villa, we mentioned, featherweight, top featherweight. I think he's the 3rd ranked American featherweight, so obviously behind Ray Ford and Angelo Leo. I think is maybe the number 1.
Can I just say, I remember one of you boys put in the group chat, it's a quiet weekend this weekend.
Yeah.
And then you look at the calendar and then you look at it and you're like, oh no, it's not.
It was
packed
me.
for like the next 8 weeks.
Yeah, we're going to be busy.
Busy times.
Yeah, I've set up a sleeping bag in the corner. I'm moving into the podcast studio. But yeah, Villa lost to Emmanuel Navarrete for the WBO World Feather. He looks like a top fighter. I'm not going to pretend I've watched every one of his fights and I've analysed it in great detail. Don't know a huge amount about him, but he's a southpaw, 26. Looks like a really great opportunity. If he wins this fight, he's the kind of person you're going to be putting in the conversation against the likes of the Ray Fords and people like that in the division.
I like it.
The big one.
He was ringside as well on Saturday night. Ford.
Yeah, I think, and
he's not on the 5v5 card now.
Well, he said he didn't rule it out. He didn't rule it out. Nor would he, obviously. He was not going to go, yeah, I'm definitely not on there, because that kind of ruins the
Should be getting the
mystery,
press conference for that soon as well, shall we?
Yeah, we should be. That should be soon, and we should be something to look forward to. The Manchester card, Eddie Hearn Matchroom show, obviously headlined by Jordan Gill, Zelfa Barrett.
The one we're looking forward to.
We'll start at the bottom, though it shouldn't be at the bottom. Brandon Scott
How is
fighting
he down there, though?
Rodrigo Matias Arezo.
Return fight, didn't it?
Return fight for Brandon.
But still, he should be on the main card at least.
Yeah, a two-handed Brandon, finally.
Dangerous.
I was looking online if there's anywhere I could put a bet on Brandon Scott to get a knockout, because I'm so confident that he's going to knock him clean out.
Well, the guy he's
But
fighting,
I couldn't find anywhere, unfortunately.
he's an Argentinian.
Yeah.
And what happened with a lot of Argentinians this weekend? They came and they fought.
You guess the stoppage.
They are tough fighters, but I think a two. It's like when you've had like a dog in it, or a greyhound in a cage, and they've been waiting to go. And I think you're gonna now he's got two hands. You're gonna put Brandon in the ring, and he's just gonna rip his head off, so to speak.
The interesting thing with Brandon is who his first real tough test is gonna be. What big first fight is gonna be?
He hasn't won the Welsh title, has he?
No. He could fight Conor McIntosh for that Welsh title.
Well,
I think they don't train together, but I'm sure they know. I mean, being in Wales, I'm sure they know each other. But
him and Rashid.
I think Rashid's upper division though, isn't he? Rashid beat
Conor's dropped down.
Yeah, Rashid beat Conor at lightweight, and Conor and
you've started
Brandon are super feather.
Rashid this weekend. So.
Yeah.
Sorry. He's also fighting this weekend, Rashid Omar.
He is, yeah.
Making his
Swindon
2024 outing.
But yeah, when you look at it on the British rankings, Brandon Scott ranked 27th, so that's 3 above Nathan Howes. Obviously someone we've chatted to quite a lot. Conor McIntosh ranked 18. I think he was ranked 10 when Conor's fight finished, so he dropped down a little bit with some fights. But yeah, I think we're going to see some huge things from.
He's the sort of person, Brandon
Scott,
Scott, that when he fights, you don't want to miss, because
and don't miss.
There's something special there.
The press conferences, don't miss any of it, because we spoke to him.
Forget about the predictions. What Avenger is he going to come in? What Marvel character?
Oh, tough one.
He was Spider-Man last time.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Do a Tyson Fury come in as Batman?
Maybe the Winter Soldier, because he's got metal hand now, metal arm. Maybe he's going to do something there. I'm trying to think. And what's his nickname, Ben?
The world's the baddest nerd on the planet.
There we go.
Why do I always say it wrong?
Almost got
I always get it wrong.
Almost got him.
Hello and welcome back to the Punches Chance podcast. I'm here with the world's baddest nerd.
It's basically the same.
Tomato.
Well,
Tomato.
if you don't know where that's coming from, Ben interviewed Brandon.
Go and check it out.
Check out, it's on the channel.
It's
It's
actually a really good interview. He's really good to speak to.
And how many times is he going to be called Lego Head
yeah,
this fight week?
Lego hair.
Eddie Hearn taking a mick out of him.
Yeah. He's a great character.
So likeable, ain't he?
You need in boxing. You need people like that to make fight weeks interesting, to make fight nights interesting, and to make the all the time in between when they haven't got a fight interesting. Brandon Scott seems to be that kind of guy, and hopefully he's going to get the win. You've got William Crawler fighting on there as well. Obviously not the father as Harry thought, but brother of it's Anthony Crawler, isn't it?
Yeah.
The trainer. So ideally, you'd imagine a really good fighter, 4-0 at this point, super welterweight. Another one to keep your eye on. But then moving on up, we got our 4 predictions, which like I said, we're going to be doing on the Boxing News app.
Oh, bloody boxing news.
So we'll load up the app real quick. The first one is Michael Gomez Jr. versus Kane Baker, super featherweight 10-round clash. For this one, I'm going to go for a Gomez Jr. decision. I think
Gomez Jr. last time he fought, when he defended his English title against Levi Giles, he won it, but it was a bit of controversy with it. And then at the weigh-in, I'm just reading through what they've got on this news I'm reading. Gomez floored Giles.
Fair enough.
Which led to him being suspended. So,
fair enough. I mean, yeah, he's 20-1 now. And Kane Baker 19-10.
Yeah, but Baker's coming off back-to-back wars with Jordan Flynn, who I think was meant to be fighting on this card, if I'm not mistaken, against Connor. What was his name? Cameron Viong. Sorry, in the Battle of the MVP.
Yeah, he's fighting Tampella Maharusi, Tanzanian fighter instead. But yeah, I think it's
a very good fight. This fight,
it should be a good fight. I fancy Gomez Jr. going for it. I think with that belt and Kane Baker with 10 losses. I just think once you get to 10 losses, you maybe don't quite have the same impetus to protect that
Gomez Jr.
record.
Points.
Yeah,
We've both gone points.
Yeah.
I've gone stoppage.
I think what I've come to realise with this one, it's less about...
It's crap though, ain't it? Because you can predict the winner, but you only get 2 points.
It's less about...
You finished bottom twice.
Yeah.
You just need to get better.
Twice. First time, actually. What happened with the Fabio Wardley card,
Don't hate the rules.
That's gone right to the back of your mind now, is it?
Don't hate the rules.
Look at him. You're thinking, Ben, you wait until May 18th, buddy. I hope you're talking then.
So, Rhiannon Dixon versus Karen Elizabeth Carabajal, WBO World Light. Karen Elizabeth Carabajal.
Nice.
Nailed it. Another good fight, to be fair, and another difficult fight, I think. I'm going to go against my rule that I generally say, and I did this last weekend with Galaria Fai, of Argentinians don't get knocked out. I'm going to go for Rhiannon Dixon with a knockout. I think she's going to get the finish.
She's had 1 knockout in her career. She's got a white-collar background as well.
Yeah.
So she's rolling the dice this weekend, but...
I'll back her. 9 wins, 9 KOs. Sorry, not 9 KOs. 9 fights, 9 wins. Like you said, just the 1 KO. But yeah, I think she'll get the win.
Well, Caraballo as well. She fought Katie Taylor. So it's a big test for Rhiannon Dixon.
Her only loss is to Katie Taylor.
Yeah.
And it's for the vacant WBO. So...
I'm going with Rhiannon Dixon points decision.
Fair enough. What are you going for, Harry?
Same as Ben.
Both on points.
Sure. I want to change the Gomez Jr. one, but I've said it now, so I'm going to stick.
Yeah, you got to. I think this is the thing. It's the way the fight ends is almost more important than the result.
Totally agree. That's why I hate. That's why I don't like.
You can get 1 fight bang on, and it's only 1 less point than getting 3 fights with the wrong. It's a big one, but I like it. Ellie Scottney versus Ségolène Lefebvre, super bantamweight.
Can I do my favourite thing?
What's that?
Somebody's O has got to go.
Absolutely, it does. Whose O is going to go? That's the question.
I've gone with Ellie Scotney decision.
This is a tough one because I think Scotney's a really good fighter. I do rate her, but then I think Lefebvre's she's had some.
This is her fifth defence.
I was going to say she's had some decent tough fights.
Who now? Ellie Scotney?
No. That's her opponent.
Yeah.
Lefebvre.
She's had some fairly decent fights. She's had, obviously this is the first one outside of France. I'm going to go for a Lefebvre decision. I think she's going to win. We've been guilty of backing domestic fighters and getting it wrong. So this time I'm going to roll the dice. I'm going to go for Lefebvre decision win.
That's what I like from you. You're not boring.
Scotney. Thank you. I appreciate that.
But I'm gonna agree with Ben.
But you're going to be boring. You're going to go for Ellie Scotney.
Well, being boring. I can't believe how serious somebody in this room takes these predictions.
Well, me? I'm the winner.
Yeah, no.
I'm 2 up.
Why is he giving me so much stick?
So I've got
Jealousy.
3 fights going the distance so far. Okay.
This
This main event, mine, I can't call yet. I need to see the weigh-in before I call it.
It's so... but
Well,
you're going to have to
you've
call
got to
it,
make the-
unfortunately.
No.
You're going to have to call it on the...
I've got mine
on the
ready
now.
to go.
Same.
I don't think about it before I come here.
Do you know what? This is one I've been racking my brain for the last couple of days. I've switched between both of them. Zelfa Barrett, Jordan Gill, Zelfa Barrett.
Barrett's the next big thing out of Manchester. Ricky Hatton and all that. Anthony Crawler.
Yeah, I think if you look at Zelfa Barrett's record, you'd maybe say that Zelfa Barrett's the favourite going into it, but then Jordan Gill's part, he's in a real sort of resurgence at the moment.
He had a fight
of
against
his
Rakimov.
career.
Barrett.
And yeah, that's
in Abu Dhabi for
that's
the
his
IBF title.
The only loss on his record, I think, for Barrett.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
gonna.
he's had
He's had
another
another.
loss.
Who's
Thursday
the other
has
guy?
he?
Who?
He lost early in his career.
Oh, did he?
Someone as well.
I'm gonna. Do you know what? I really want Jordan Gill to win. I really like Jordan Gill. But I'm gonna go for Zelfa Barrett victory, and I'm gonna go for a knockout. I think this fight ends in a knockout, and I just think Jordan Gill's been dropped quite a lot in his career. Not always lost the fights, but he's been dropped. He's hit the canvas quite a lot, and Zelfa Barrett's put a lot of people on the canvas. And I just don't know if he necessarily is going to be able to eat any of those Zelfa Barrett shots
That
and
performance
get away with
against
it.
Michael Conlon for Gill
What
was
a performance.
unbelievable.
I really want Gill to win. If I was voting with my heart, I would go for a Gill knockout.
To be fair, 50% of Zelfa Barrett's fights ends with him getting a knockout win.
I don't think this one goes the distance. I mean, the last time we said that, it was Wardley Clark, and we know how that went. But I don't think this one goes the
call
difference.
that going the distance, and I've called this going the distance as well.
Which one have you gone for, though?
Zelfa Barrett.
Zelfa Barrett by decision. And Harry.
It's going to take him about half hour now.
The thing is, though, Jordan Gill, if he wins this fight, he's a world title shot next, surely.
Yeah,
It's a world
100%.
title shot for either of them, I think, if they win it. That's why it's so big for the both of them.
Yeah, I think it is really big fight.
Bloody hate doing this. So I've got it all going the distance.
Yeah.
But does this fight go the distance? I think Gill beats him.
So you're going to Gill.
Going for a
Gill.
Jordan. The thrill Gill.
Could be another draw, mine. Could I predict a draw?
You can.
But then I get 0 points. So I'm going to say this.
You get 10 points if you get it right.
No, listen. I predict it's a draw.
Okay.
But because of the table and I want to be up there with you boys, I'm going to go with Gill.
Yeah, but if it's a draw now, you don't get any special points.
I'll go draw then. It doesn't happen, but I don't care about these fights anyway.
Oh,
So-
he's throwing the towel in.
Alright.
It's going to be such a tough one to call this main event. I'm quite happy you've gone for a draw because
You
then
put your
It's
rounds
a
in as well.
50-50 fight though as well.
it really is. It really is. And if it gets a draw, fair play to you.
Yeah,
It's got, well, we've
with
seen
that,
a
though,
good
I
few
wanna
draws
change-
already this year.
Because we haven't submitted them yet, because you ain't, I'm going to change my Gomez Jr. to a stoppage. Just
I don't think he's allowed to do it, has he?
I'll let it slide
Alright,
because he's bottom of the table.
alright, no,
I'll let him
leave it
slide.
as it- I'll leave it as it is.
It's
You've
like
done
when
your rounds as well.
It's like
I've
when
gone
the-
38 on the rounds.
I've gone
I've gone-
42.
I think I went 38.
You can't be going the same rounds,
I've already,
boys. That's
I've
boring.
already sent it off 38.
Submit
But
predictions.
we've gone for different decisions, so we'll be separate.
So I've got all my fights going the distance.
I've got a couple.
So we're in
I've
for
got
a
two
long
finishes.
We're in
I've got
for a long night.
Lefebvre winning. That's my bold call over Ellie Scotney. That's going to be an interesting one. Anything else for the episode from you boys?
Rashid Omar.
Rashid Omar
fighting this weekend against Christian Lopez Flores. Fought in Saudi Arabia a couple of weeks ago, so it's a decent test for him, but obviously, hopefully, Rashid gets through it and then he can go and shut up this Ahmed Hatim, or whatever his name is, in his next fight.
Yeah, there's a little bit of afters going on social media thanks to Harry, so we enjoy that one.
It's a part of the job.
It's a part of the job.
I learn from the best, I do. Thank you, Sam.
Other than that, we're going to a press conference this afternoon. I think we could probably
2 shows coming up as well.
I think we can probably say it because by the time this episode goes out, it will have been done. Ethan George versus Ryan Pocock for the Welsh title. Really big fight, really great event on a Sanagar show in early June, I think it is.
June the 1st.
June the 1st.
Followed by 5v5.
Oh, beautiful. So keep an eye out for that. We're going to be chucking content from that up on the channel, I'm sure.
Got some interviews coming up as well.
Yeah, we got all sorts of big stuff coming to the channel. So keep your eyes open. Subscribe if you haven't already, because you're missing out on some quality content. Other than that, Spotify for the full episodes. If you prefer to just listen via audio, my beautiful voices. Twitter for articles, fight updates, fight previews, anything on there. Instagram. Some of our reels go up on there. Follow us on Instagram just to make the number go higher. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. Other than that, we will catch you all next week for another episode.